Hi everyone, Bianca here from the Vitality Kitchen, and I want to welcome you back into my kitchen. Today we are going to be making pear and parsnip soup. Now in the wintertime, I really love soup because one, it's cold, so that's just a given. Soup is nice and it's warming, but soup is also incredibly hydrating if you make it the right way. Now in wintertime, when we don't feel like sipping on an ice cold glass of water, we tend to become underhydrated, and soup is excellent for hydrating the body, presuming that it's homemade and not made with tons of sodium and all the other additives, etc. Now this recipe is based on a recipe that is found in this lovely cookbook by the wonderful holistic nutritionist Joy McCarthy. She's from Toronto, so go Canada. And this recipe, although I don't follow it to the letter as you would find it in the book, what I'm going to give kudos to Joy for is that she gives you all these really simple recipes that are in fact quite delicious, but these recipes lend themselves so well to customization down the line. And that's a true measure of a good book, that simple recipes taste really good and also are easy to prepare, so you're going to want to do it. So if you haven't heard of Joy McCarthy, look her up. And if you haven't heard of this book, or you have yet to purchase this book, please go out and buy it. It's excellent, and give Joy your feedback. I'm sure she would love to hear it. So moving on to the soup. The soup has pears, obviously, parsnips, a friend of the carrot but not the carrot, has more of a root vegetable-y flavor, less sweet, more root vegetable-y, and then of course we have onions. Any soup to me that I'm going to make in the Vitality Kitchen is going to have onions in it because it is a part of the Trinity, the Holy Grail, the mirepoix, which is carrot, celery, onion. Now I'm not using carrots because I don't want to make this soup a really odd orangey yellow color, and celery I just don't think it's needed. So we're just going to be using onions. Now I have melted in here a little bit of coconut oil, and you could use coconut oil, you could use grapeseed oil. I would not use olive oil or avocado oil or any of those oils because those, once they get to a certain heat level, they denature and they become bad for you. So the key to a really deep, richly flavored vegetarian soup, or vegan soup in this case, is you want to caramelize your onions. Now caramelizing onions, I think I talked about this in the last video that I did for the winter vegetable stew. It's going to just, again, create a layer of flavor. At every opportunity that you have to build flavor, you want to take it. So we have our onions in there, and you want to season it with a little bit of salt, because we're going to season at every single step to ensure that every bite tastes as good as the last. And a little bit of cracked pepper. Now this recipe only has a few ingredients, and that's what I love most about it, is that you don't have to go out and buy a whole slew of ingredients to fill your pantry with that you might never use on another occasion. No, these are just things that you would find in your grocery store, easy to find, and also this is seasonal, one of my favorite things to do, seasonal foods. Now, pear is a winter, fall fruit. I live in Edmonton where nothing is a fruit at this time of year, but that's okay. And then parsnips, again, like the carrot family, it has wintertime appeal because it's easy to grow in winter. It's really winter. So you just want to stir, stir, stir. So the onions have been cooking down for about 5 minutes. And they're getting a little bit of color, but they're also becoming super fragrant, like you can really smell them. And they're also starting to get a little bit translucent and transparent as opposed to being opaque. And this is when you're going to want to add your parsnip and your pear. Now pear, it's not going to be like a sweet candy dessert like soup. No, it's actually going to have notes of sweet and notes of salty, which makes it a way more complex and interesting soup to eat. You want to stir that around, and this is when you're going to add your cardamom. So again, salt and pepper, because this is another stage of cooking. And we're just going to let these cook down for another about 5 to 7 minutes. So the pears and the parsnips have been cooking down with the cardamom and the onions, and again, you'll be able to smell it. You'll know when it's ready because that cardamom will start to really bouquet the air, and you'll be like, it smells like cardamom in here. And then we're going to add our vegetable broth. And we're also going to add coconut milk. This is going to make it luscious, velvety, smooth, creamy, all of the things you associate with a cream soup, but without any dairy. Love it. In Joy's recipe, she doesn't use vegetable stock, but you don't have to. You can if you want. The choice is yours. So we're going to let that come up to a boil, and we want to cook this until the parsnips are tender. So the pears are going to become tender before the parsnips, obviously, but we're going to cook this until the parsnips are tender because we're going to be blending it all together, so it doesn't matter that the pears cook sooner. So the soup has finished boiling. It was about 20-25 minutes until the parsnips were soft. So I switched out my burner and I have a food processor here. Alternately, you could use a hand blender to blend up your soup. So what I'm going to do is first I checked the seasoning to make sure that it was seasoned appropriately, because you want to make sure that you're blending everything up together and not seasoning at the end, because that might lead to just seasoned patches of not. So I like to just scoop it with a mason jar. I'm always just afraid of like splashing and getting too much filling or not enough filling and too much liquid, or vice versa. So I always scoop up filling and then grab a little bit of broth, just pour it that way. And then we blend. It's really just that easy. So you can blend it as far as you like to blend it. Some people like things blended really, really smooth. Other people like a little bit of texture. You want to just make sure you blend it the way that you like. So I didn't peel my pears, so there are some nice little pear skin pieces. If your fruit is organic, leave the peel on. There is a ton of fiber in the peel, lots of nutrients. You want to save that. So I'm going to continue to blend this, and then I'll come back and give you final thoughts. So the soup is completely blended, and it's just as easy as that. Now you can finish it with a little bit of coconut milk to make it even richer than it already is, but it doesn't really need it, in my opinion. And yeah, this is a take that winter type of dish. You know, it's warm, it's creamy, it's soothing, it's comforting, and it's also super nutritious, full of fiber, full of phytonutrients, vitamins, minerals, you know, the works. It's full of everything, lots of goodness. So if you haven't already connected with Joy McCarthy and gotten a hold of this book, I would highly suggest it. It's getting lots of play in the Vitality Kitchen because it's just that good. So I want to thank you again for joining me in my kitchen today and allowing me to share this pear parsnip cardamom soup inspired by the lovely Joy McCarthy with you today. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, share it around, subscribe, you know the deal. And if you want more recipes just like this one, you can find them on my blog at blog.thevitalitykitchen.ca. If you live in the Edmonton area, you can get this stuff in your home and you can eat it without even having to make it by visiting thevitalitykitchen.ca and getting in on all the meal plan, juice cleanse, delicious fun. So I'm Bianca, and I want to thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.